Right, hopefully they're... Oh, Jesus. It's terrible. Right, Brett. Try and look like I'm actually presentable rather than slumbering in my seat, I suppose. Hope we get some people watching.
We got one person.
Yeah, the boys. Maybe
The boys, singular.
Nolan King with me here from MMA Junkie, a lesser unreputable outlet. But, you know, we're here live, Cageside. Brett, would you like to appear on screen? Remind the people that you still have a job. No, remember that. 30 minutes. Yeah, big live stream. Do you want to appear on it? This is Charlie Moynihan. He's ESPN's legendary producer. How many drinks did we have last night? 22 vodka sodas and 7 shots. 22 vodka sodas and 7 shots. His birthday boy yesterday. You look beautiful, mate. I'm a 55. There you go, mate. Fuck off. Right. We're here to preview Sean O'Malley versus Rob. Feeling 2 should be the other way around. I fucked up. Rob's champion. Bye, baby. Bye, baby.
This is flying here. The love is in the air at UFC 360.
It's love is in the air. We're here at Cageside. The crowd is sparse at present, but are you expecting it sold out a recent night?
I think so, although they said there were tickets still available a couple days ago, so I don't know.
The turnout for the weigh-ins and the press conference, a little less than the last time.
Less for sure. Same level of rowdiness, I think, though. Those people were loud when we were at the press conference.
Scumbags up here in the Northeast, man. Couldn't hear shit.
Yeah. But yeah, it should be good. You know, I'm not sure if there's fatigue from them coming here, you know, a few years in a row.
Yeah, so this is their last one on the deal, right?
Yeah,
this is, so maybe went back for doing it for some time, so get it in while you can if you're in the area.
Yeah, it's a decent card, though. I mean,
it is a good card, actually. Like, obviously,
looking at what we've got this year so far, I think
everyone knows MMA's in the toilet for the first 6 months of this year, but I think we're about to turn it around, hopefully with a big show tonight. Sometimes you get a feeling that like certain shows are going to be good nights. I think tonight's got some good cards.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and there's a big step up, I think, from the prelims to the main card. Like, it's one of those cards where you turn up like 5 levels when you go to like the Holland fight, right?
Yeah.
But I do think the prelims have a lot of fighters that they're like action potential there. You know, there's not like a whole lot of meaning to some of those fights, but I think there's going to be some fun ones, some knockouts.
Obviously, have your darling president attending tonight.
Yeah.
Based on how the rectal exam I just got from the social.
I can't believe they pulled you aside like that, man, in front of everyone. Made you do what you have to do. But
usually I pay for that.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so Trump's going to be here. He'll get his big fucking walkout. I don't know if he's going to have the whole Dark Avengers with him. Presumably not. Elon's doing Ket with the guy I bought it from last night.
True.
What do you reckon of this main event then? Are you expecting a different fight out? Sean O'Malley's obviously made it clear. He's changed his lifestyle, he's changed his training. He feels like if they're in physical shape, what do you expect for the main event? Do you think it'll play out differently or much the same as always?
Yeah, I mean, I think the focus right in media day, he was asked like 10 questions about that lifestyle change sort of thing, and that's been the focus. But I do wonder how his hip, how much the hip impacted him in that first fight. Like, I know we kind of roll our eyes and a lot of fans do when fighters say they're injured, but these guys train so hard, man, that if you're going in there with a significant injury, trying to stop Rob Balastigli's takedowns, I mean, you're not going to be the same guy that you would be if you were healthy. So I think there's that, and then also, the fact that Merab, I thought, didn't look as fresh as he usually does. Like, he always has a tough cut, but he brought up the weight cut on his own multiple times this week in interviews, questions that weren't even about that. He starts talking about how his weight cut was difficult.
He does like a tangent, to be fair.
For sure.
Merab does like a tangent.
That's true.
How was your Saturday? In 1996, I trained in mountains. He does go on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah. But we'll see, man. You know, I think it's an interesting. I'm more excited about it tonight. Maybe I'm just a sucker than when it was first announced.
Yeah.
O'Malley always has that puncher's chance at minimum, and I think he's got a little bit more than that tonight.
I feel the same way. I think Sean seems very composed. It's funny that he was injured going into the last fight, and we did see him on crutches a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I had heard some shit. So I don't know how.
Yeah, you asked him about his crotch, right?
I did ask him about his crotch.
Yeah.
Try to see it.
Crotch injury.
But no, I believe I heard some stuff about this fight, but he seems fresh. He seems really, as you said, the way it's focused. I think that's really important. And he's a big Showtime player, but you think Joe Rogan's just walking in, that's why the crowd's going nuts.
I thought they noticed that you were around.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
But I think you know, although he loves under the spotlight, the sphere was a big deal, the injuries, the pressure of this guy being as good tonight. I think now he's like kind of the underdog, but a lot of that pressure's taken off him, and he'll be able to just go in there and kind of perform a bit more freely. How that plays out in the physicality, but I don't know, because Merab will go in there like half, I was about to say retarded, then I'm glad I didn't, but Merab will go in there like all fucked up and still just implement his game plan. Like, no matter what, he fights the way he fights. I think like the pressure at the moment can get to Sean a bit more as he's looking for moments.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play out tonight. Obviously got the co-main event.
Yes.
Two ladies. You know, it feels like Kayla has been on this course of like, well, she's basically the champion anyway, let's just get her there. Juliana's obviously tough because they can't, but how do you see that fight going?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, like, Kayla's the obvious pick here, but I do think there are routes to victory for Juliana. You know, we've seen in the past, Kayla, later in fights, she's looked unimpressive, and I think the one thing about Juliana is you got to give it to her on the mental side. Like, she doesn't break. Sometimes we look at it from the outside and we would say, like, oh, like, the skills don't necessarily match up to what you would think a champion would be, but she believes in herself. Two-time champion. Yeah, she believes in herself. I don't think she's somebody that's going to get...
Potential it's Juliana Pena.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can start that. We got petitions flying in the UFC. You can start that one here maybe during the prelims. But yeah, I think Kayla's going to win. But I also think if it gets into round 4, round 5, Kayla having to cut that championship weight for the first time. Let's see how that comes into play.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I think either way, Amanda's probably getting in the cage tonight.
Oh yeah.
No one asked her at the banquet. Obviously, a guy asked her out, but no one asked her. Is she in the pool? Like, can she even fight again this year? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we actually looked at that. She's not been tested yet, so it's kind of hard to say if she's in the pool. I would assume not if she hasn't had a single drug test. But with the UFC running their own now, I'm not sure what the exact rules are. I think they maintain a lot of the similar things.
6 months, right? She can do December.
That would be 6 months, so maybe an end of the year fight.
I mean, her and Kayla, like, it's a bit funny, right? Because everyone's sort of clamoring for the return of Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
And when she was active, don't think I'm talking out of school when it's a bit like, I don't necessarily think her fights were that anticipated.
Right.
But now, because the women's MMA division, the women's MMA is so lacking, everyone's really clamoring for her return. But I do believe if they book her and Kayla, it will feel big.
Oh, 100%. You know, I think it's the biggest women's fight since Nunes versus Cyborg, right? So, one that's not only got anticipation, but it's one I think we didn't think we were maybe going to see when Amanda stepped away. We thought we might just miss it. So I think the fact that it seemed like something that was off the radar, now it's back, has people even more excited for it in a weird way.
Yeah. What's a sleeper fight tonight? I saw someone else.
Chaos Williams and Andreas Gustafsson. I think both those guys are super violent, car crash sort of fight. You know, Gustafsson's new. I don't think a lot of people know, but if you watch the Contender Series fight, it was really savage. Just Muay Thai, really aggressive Muay Thai attack. And Chaos Williams always
You love the Contender Series.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's great.
And Bellator. You love it.
It helped me, I think, also get this job a bit because nobody was covering it, and it was right when I was, you know, kind of getting into coverage. So, yeah, I enjoy it, man. It has a special place in my heart. But I think that's a great fight. If people aren't familiar with him, it's going to be violent.
Yeah, I like the fight. Yeah. I think
well, Josh Van's impressing me too recently. He's
pretty good.
He boxed, who did he fight last? Cody Garrison or something? He was boxing his face off.
I feel like, I mean, he said it as much 2 years ago. The Vicente Luque Kevin Holland fight has potential. I think Vicente's been sort of fighting within himself a bit recently. That's a really wanky way of saying that. But like, he's kind of been looking a little bit slower and less aggressive. If he can sort of pull that back and we get the old school Vicente, that's a good fight.
Yeah, that's a great one. And obviously Patsy Mix too. I mean, pretty highly anticipated debut. So that's a little bit everything. You know, I think that main card, like I said, is where the best stuff is, as it should be. But the prelims have some moments I think we're gonna, you know, some highlights we're gonna remember as well.
I believe UFC and the top teams are going to be some announcements at the post-fight press conference.
Yeah.
Not the one you want, but there'll be some fights announced. Then sort of get an outline of the schedule for the rest of the year. Yeah. But it is on the top of everyone at the moment, the Jon Jones thing, the crowd chanting shit like that. Imagine if the whole arena chanted tonight, that'd be pretty special. Your vibe on that, your feeling on it, and the fact that it's not since Conor and Nate 2, when Conor got pulled from the fight to do the press conference, have I felt a one singular narrative running through the whole sport. It's all anyone wants to talk about. Right. I don't remember anything like this for a long, long time. What's your thoughts on the Jon Jones thing, the tweets, the constant tweets? Like, what's your
I hope we get some clarity, because I mean, we haven't spoken to Dana for a while. I know we'll probably ask the question, and we probably will not get answers tonight. Spoiler alert.
Here's what I predict he's going to say. Don't believe everything you read. What people say privately and publicly is very different. The fight's still on. That's my prediction. What he's going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to ask him, Jon saying he told the UFC what his plan is. Well, if that's true, what's the plan, right? I think that's the question to be asked, and I'm sure somebody will ask him along those lines. So I'm interested, man. I mean, it's obviously a massive fight. It's the one everybody wants to see. But I think I've hit a point personally where I think we're starting to tip, and the Francis angle's a little new, but it's starting to hit some fatigue level for me as well.
I think it's fatigue level because of how much Jon's been talking.
Right.
But, those 3 years he disappeared for, we didn't really hear a lot about Jon or from Jon. Like, he was angry at the UFC a couple of times and didn't go away, and then he showed up for Cyril Gane, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This is different. Jon is like very engaged with this story. Very happy to tell you how much money he's made. I'm very happy to tell you that he doesn't care about what you want. So it's a bit different. So I think because of that, you're getting the fatigue. I feel like Jon is underestimating that if he's been doing all this and doesn't fight Tom, it will actually affect his standing in the eyes of
Yeah, I mean, it's at that point. If you think about it, right, if Jon had retired when he was saying that Tom was not, anything special and people wouldn't get excited about it, this isn't a big fight, it doesn't do anything for his legacy, like, now he can't say that anymore. The fact that it's been dragged out this long, I think those sort of claims to not wanting to take the fight have gone out the window. This is the fight everybody wants to see, and if he does retire, he doesn't fight again, this will be written in his story.
Yeah, I think as well, like, the whole time, the ducking thing's a weird thing, right? Because it's very weird to accuse someone of Jon Jones' ability and stature of ducking anyone.
Right.
But it's one thing to say, I don't want to fight Tom because he's a nobody, he hasn't done anything, which I think if anyone watches Tom fight, you can see he's got generational level talent. He's like very different sort of heavyweight. Right. So you can't say he's shit or like not worth your exit. But you want to say that fight. You can't say that and then say, well, I'll fight someone else though. And that's the thing. Like, let's have it right.
I personally wouldn't have a problem with Jon after the Stipe fight just retired.
If he did it in the cage, then fair enough.
I don't want to fight anymore. Because here's the thing, I think we always, like, look at Habib, he kind of had a perfect retirement. I don't think guys always have to lose. Our greats always have to get beat up and have a sad ending. So I wouldn't hate on him if he wanted to retire on top. But just the way that this has been dragged out and dragged along, and he's hinted at times there might be other opportunities that he would take. I think that, again...
Yeah, right, let's have it right. In Alex Pereira, who's interim champion, he's fighting him tonight.
He said he'd fight Alex, he said he'd fight Francis, so...
He said he'd fight Derek Lewis, he said he'd fight Jamal Hill.
Right. So,
yeah, sorry. And again, like, it's tough to say, like, Canelo and David Benavidez, right? That's the fight everyone wants to see. And Canelo basically said, I'm not fighting that guy.
Right.
And you get the impression that it's not because, maybe it's not that they think they're going to lose, but they know their chance loses that much. And I think if Jon Jones loses, that would really, let's be honest, fuck him up mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he said as such, so I'm not,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird, overdrawn and long, but I reckon we'll find an answer to the whole thing this month.
Yeah. Well, you would know better than me, man. When's it happening?
I don't think it is happening.
There you go.
But, I mean, I want it to happen. We'll see. But I think we'll know by the end of this month because I've always said I bet they try and do that fight in MSG.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the time now where that needs to be made, right? So,
right.
Thanks for watching. Is there any questions worth it? Yeah, it's the beard thing, boys. I know the beard's looking rough this morning. Obviously, having anyone last night. So I'm not looking for fractures, but it's still work. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not my hammy or anything.
Yeah. Oh, you look great, man. Always.
Top 10 worst seat in America. Alright, see you later. Enjoy the fight, everyone.